Welcome to AI TechBook. Today, how model extraction attacks work and whether you can actually stop them. The first time I read that a company had cloned a frontier model, I pictured a breach, stolen weights, an inside job, something dramatic. It was none of that. A provider reported roughly 16 million exchanges with its model, generated from about 24,000 fake accounts, all to train a competitor. Every one of those exchanges was an ordinary request. A prompt in, an answer out. Nothing was broken into. The model was asked over and over until its behavior could be copied. That's when it clicked for me. If a model will answer you, it will teach you how it answers. The answer is the leak. I traced how you turn a pile of answers into a working copy in its 3 steps, none of which touch the weights. Step 1, query generation. You write prompts that probe the model across the behaviors you care about. Step 2, response collection. You record every answer. The prompt and its answer become one training example, a matched pair. Step 3, surrogate training. You take all those pairs and train a smaller student model to reproduce the same outputs. Here's the part I kept missing. The student never sees the original's parameters. It only imitates what the original said. The output isn't only the product of the model. It is the training signal for copying it. That's why the technique is called distillation. You distill a big model's behavior into a smaller one, using nothing but its own answers. My next question was the obvious one. If it's this mechanical, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer is the economics, and they're lopsided. Training a frontier model takes immense resources, the compute, the data, the research. Distilling a capable copy through the API takes a relatively modest budget. Early attacks needed millions of queries. Newer methods pick high-value prompts and spend far fewer. You don't need a perfect copy. Partial behavior is often enough to compete. Once I saw that, the threat stopped looking like sabotage. It's arbitrage. Defenders can't lean on it being too hard. It isn't. How do you defend it? There's no single wall. There's a stack, and every layer has a known gap. Rate limiting caps how many queries an account can make, but attackers spread the load across thousands of fake accounts, which is exactly what happened. Output controls return only the top answers, or add a little calibrated noise, so each response carries less signal, but push that too far and you hurt your real users. Watermarking hides a detectable signal inside the outputs, so a distilled copy can be traced back to you. Behavioral detection flags extraction-shaped traffic, things like systematic coverage and sequential near-identical prompts, though telling a patient attacker from an unusual but honest user is genuinely hard. Every one of these is attacks on the attacker, paid partly by your legitimate users. The craft is layering them so the attacker's bill climbs faster than yours. Here's the truth no defense escapes, and it reframed the whole problem for me. An API that returns useful text is, by its nature, handing over a training signal. You can degrade it, meter it, watermark it, but the only way to make distillation truly impossible is to stop answering usefully, which defeats the point of having an API at all. A queryable interface can always be distilled, to some degree. The goal was never prevention. It was raising the price. Extraction is a cost problem, not a lock problem. You manage it, you don't eliminate it. Concretely, what do you do with this? It depends on which side of the API you're on. If you run one, layer your defenses. No single one holds, so combine rate limits, per account anomaly detection, and output watermarking to make extraction slow, expensive, and traceable. Treat too hard to steal as false. If you consume an API, understand that your outputs are a distillable asset. Your protection there is terms of service and watermark tracing. Legal and forensic recourse, not a magic switch. Either way, the honest posture is the same. Raise the cost. That's the win. 4 things to carry out of this. The 3-step distillation mechanic, query, collect, train. The cost asymmetry, immense to build, modest to steal. The layered imperfect defense stack, and the one hard limit, any queryable API can be distilled. Extraction isn't a breach. It's the API working as designed, turned against itself. The answer is the leak, so price it accordingly. Thanks for watching AI TechBook. If this helped, subscribe. Next up, running a production VALLM server in one command.